I dreamt the day that we be free, and we no longer mourn through song and help prolong our family tree. So our grandma remember me as my story made the TV. It breaks my heart to break apart from you as tears crawl down your cheek. Maybe one day we'll be hand in hand. I land right by your side. We'll both find heaven, you and I. Until that time we touch the sky, mama, don't cry. Yeah. Mama, don't cry. Yeah. Don't cry. Relation's been on my mind, but don't worry, I'ma be fine. Mama, don't cry. Yeah. Mama, don't cry. Yeah. Don't cry. Yeah. Mama, don't cry. Don't cry. I was just 1 year old when I died. AR's eye my direction. More than 40 shots struck my house. One of those bullets pierced flesh and released my soul. I know we can't control what is destined, but this is vengeance. Sacrilegious tendencies become weapons. It ain't right, guess that's just life. That's what happens when you fight back them demons and they keep screaming to release this aggression. Sometimes I question, why did I have to go, God? You said I'd be fine. How you forget to save me? I'm a baby. Hey, we need some time. I need to grow up taller. Need to raise my daughter. Need to raise my son. When I'm a woman, we need men that raise good fathers. As I lay sleep on
Good morning, Spurs fans. Well, good afternoon, I guess, to most of y'all out there. Good morning to me, 9:03 a.m. here in Indiana, and I'm doing great. Hope everybody is doing great as well, no matter where you're watching from, whether you're in the UK, US, Australia, South America, anywhere across Europe. I mean, it's really great to have you here, so thanks a lot. And I hope everybody is excited for a big match today for Spurs. They're all big matches. We put ourselves in a position where every single match is important. Every single match is what I would consider a big match. And for the big match, I've got a couple, at least one, a big guest joining me today. And I can't wait to see him. And I'll actually throw the link in the chat, too, in case anybody else wants to jump in. I saw somebody's name in the chat, somebody I like. I know he's a busy guy. He's got some stuff going on right now, so he might not be able to make it. But it's Soren. What's up, Soren? Saying big up Colin, big up yourself, buddy. And we got Parker in the house. What's up, Parker? Yo, links in the chat now, man. If you want to jump in, join in, tell me what you think about the match today, what you think is going to happen. Obviously, we are early. There are not going to be any lineups out, anything like that. I've actually got to work right when the match starts today. Luckily, I can do both at the same time, but couldn't stream right before the match. So here I am, guys. I'm glad to have you all with me. Looks like we've got Gamecock in the house as well. What's up, Gamecock? Good to have you, buddy. And I also just wanted to tell everyone, while you're here, while we're starting out, just to kind of whore myself out there a little bit, if you want to become a Patreon member and help support the channel, help keep the lights on, help keep the content fresh, coming to you every day live, yeah, think about becoming a Patreon member. There are a couple of different tiers, and I'm actually working on kind of upgrading those. They're a little dated, as you might see. But yeah, there's a couple different tiers starting as low as $3 a month. It really helps out the channel. So consider doing that if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it, guys. But again, big up to Soren, Parker, and Gamecock. Hope you guys are doing well. And my guest should be here any second. But look at this. We've got another guest in the back, waiting in the wings. It's my man, Soren. How are you, buddy?
Mate, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I haven't seen you. I mean, I've talked to you lately, but I haven't seen you in a while. So it's nice.
Yeah, no, there's quite a lot going on at the moment. So
As soon as I said that, I felt stupid. I was like, he's got way more
yeah.
important stuff going on. But
yeah,
no, it's
so yeah, I'm supposed to be on another stream, but they're late. So I
hey,
thought I'd
there you go.
come on and say hello and see how you're doing.
Their loss is my gain. I appreciate it, man. Very, very nice to see you. Yeah, I mean, so how are you feeling after the match against Liverpool? I feel like a lot of the fan base is a bit deflated. So yeah, how have you been Spurs wise?
It's such a tough time, innit? I mean, it was always going to be tough against Liverpool. Going to Liverpool with the injuries we've got, but I don't know. I'm listening to all the rumours. Always lost the dressing room yet again, and blah blah blah. Look, even if he's lost the dressing room, you do not go into a semi-final, second leg, 1-0 up and not play. I don't. You know, if that is the case with the fans, then with the players, get rid, because any player that goes into a semi-final and doesn't want to make the final, no matter who the manager is, it's beyond me. So
Did you see? So I guess kind of bringing that back. Did you see any players that you thought looked like they weren't playing or looked like they had maybe given up on the manager? Because I hear stuff like that after every single loss. You know, so
look, I mean, we're in the same chats quite a bit, and you see the same people saying it. Did I see? Look, the performance wasn't good. It certainly wasn't good. Did some of the players? I don't think that I would want to name any players that particularly didn't play for the manager in that game, but there were certainly players that were very poor. Bissouma was shocking. Benton Kerr, looked absolutely leggy. Perhaps
like a shell of himself. Yeah, and Vincenzo looks bad.
But the three midfield, which is the two of the midfield that I picked, I sort of said Bergvall, Bentancur and Bissouma to start. They were when you need a solid midfield, we might as well not have had them players playing because they were terrible.
Carving through us like butter, like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, Bissouma was absolutely shocking.
Well, and I mean, I know you can't put an entire goal on one player. There were other players back that were defending, but his turnover in the middle of the pitch that led to Liverpool's first goal. As soon as that ball was picked up by the Liverpool player, was it Szoboszlai that picked it up? I know he ended up scoring. Anyway, actually, that might have been Gakpo. I'm losing it. But anyway, as soon as that ball was given away, I saw his head drop, I saw his shoulders drop, and I saw a couple players around him, same exact, body motion. And I just thought they're going to score right here. And they did. So
that's it. I mean, you look at the players, and I just felt that you've got the young kids in there that are obviously still playing and they're trying the hardest. And you've got the senior player. I mean, a lot of people are, giving Sonny some stick. Look, it wasn't great, don't get me wrong, but I just think the lad's knackered. I think he's just totally gone. I think, there's still a player there. I mean, I love Sonny. I think he, when we have him on the pitch, he tries his hardest, but he just hasn't got it in his legs at the moment.
Right. And I mean, and if we weren't pushing him so hard and demanding so much from him, if he could be more of I don't want to say a bit part player, but if he didn't have to if we weren't looking to him to carry the team, I don't think his performances would look so bad. We're expecting too much out of him, perhaps, or putting too much pressure on one player. And that happens to be an aging Sonny,
The thing is, when you looked at the play, I know we didn't really have many chances, but the decision making is shocking. You see somewhere they're through on not so much. They're getting into a good position. You think just pass the ball. There's a free player and they shoot, and it's kind of like what are you seeing that the rest of us don't see? Is it just greediness? We all talk about Tottenham don't pay big wages, but noticeably they do give good incentive bonuses. So are they all just wanting to take the bonuses to make the wage? I don't know, but look, I'm not Ange in as I want Ange to be the manager because I think he's fantastic. I am supporting Ange because I think he's our manager, and whoever is the manager at the time will get my support. I do think he's on rocky ground, though. I think he's on thin ice now. As much as I'd love to see him be the one to turn it round and win us a trophy, I am starting to question whether he will get the chance.
And I wanted it to work as bad as anybody. I think, by the way, what's up, Dan? How's it going, buddy?
All good. You good, Colin? Good, Soren?
Yeah, hey. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. And I hope Soren is, and I hope you are, man. But no, I'm Ange. I'm not Ange out or Ange in. I'm just Tottenham successful. That's all I want. And I think at this point, I think Tottenham are going to be successful. In spite of Daniel Levy, instead of with him. I think if success comes, it's not going to be because Daniel Levy helped propel us to it. So we do need to back a manager. We need to find a manager that's going to be able to instill a system. I really thought that Ange was that guy, but it just might not be the case. I remember when AVB and of course Pochettino were here. I loved them. I wanted them to work. I liked them personally as people. And the same has happened again here with Postecoglou, because we had these two managers in a row that weren't very likable. Didn't seem like they wanted to be here. We've got Ange who seems to live and breathe Tottenham, and it's just refreshing to me. It was refreshing when he came in. It was refreshing to play balls out, all out attacking football. It was a lot of fun. But maybe this isn't. I don't know. Maybe it's not going to work here. And for a variety of reasons, and that's okay. But I think that highlights as much as anything else that today is a must-win game. I see today as a must-win. As a must-win game. We could potentially be out of another cup today. Unless is this 2 legs? Is there 2 legs regardless, or is this just a one-off?
Straight knockout.
Nice. Sweet. So we could theoretically be out of another cup today. Dan, I'll throw it to you. Do you think this is a must-win match for Postecoglou?
Well, I'm hearing. Well, I don't know if this is true, but I'm hearing some rumors that apparently this could be it today. If you don't win today, you could be gone.
Damn.
Yeah, some people are saying. I'm hearing some people saying it on Twitter. Like, obviously, some sites are saying it, so you can't really say if they're reliable. But it's sticking to that thing I said to you yesterday about there being maybe a meeting tomorrow, all decided by this game, what this result might be happening. That's what I heard. It might be. I heard that on Friday, and then it sort of mirrors up with what I'm hearing again today about this could be potentially. So it could be this game. I think the Liverpool game might have been a final straw, maybe. Personally, just like
it was weird to me how.
I know. I think it's mainly because of like the way we just limped out of the game, I'm not really happy. The one thing I wasn't happy about as well, I'm not really happy about managers pointing out players, but he should have pointed out the senior players' performances in that game, and he didn't. He sort of protected them as well, and we saw clearly what the issues were in that game. I know he's good protecting the players at times as well, but you're not throw under the bus. But just say that they didn't play. We could clearly see it. Them senior players did not play well. And it's at a point now where he's coming to a point now where he's starting to is he protecting the players a bit too much as well when his job's on the line? I can't. Today's a must-win game because if we got 2 cup competitions in 4 days, it's not really going to lift the spirit of the fan base up, is it? Right now, the spirit of the fan base is at an all-time low as well. So, for the sake of the fan base as well, we need to win this game, man.
Absolutely for that, yeah.
Yeah, because it will really put all the pressure on that Europa. It will literally just be the Europa League or nothing. if we
And
go out
that'll
as
be
competition today.
we know how this team deals with pressure. We know how they crumble. By the way, Dermotron
Yeah,
is in the house. Big up, Dermo.
Big
What's
up.
up, buddy?
Big up, Dermot. Big up.
Big up, guys.
Yeah,
Look,
just not-
today's
Yeah, sorry,
important, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely important. I think we were just talking. I mean, is it a must win? Is it a must win match for Ange today? Soren says no. Soren thinks Ange is going to be here till the end of the season, and I tend to agree.
I said it in my prediction for Dave's channel that the last sort of week is going to be define our season, maybe define Ange as a manager. Getting rid of him. I think we go through this every time we lose. It's like we'll go through. Is Ange getting sacked today? Is Ange getting sacked today? And it's like I just want it done one way or the other. Just club to come out and say he's here to the end of the season. That's it. No more talk about it. Or if they are going to get rid of him, because it's like torture. It's like we're bumbling along. What hurts me more, I don't blame Ange for Thursday. I blame squarely the players. They squarely did not turn up. Didn't do what
even at 1-1. Even at 1-1, we were still in it, and their heads dropped, and they gave up. Yeah. I mean, it was clear. It was clear as day to see.
These players don't do pressure. Never have done. Never will. It's a culture at the club, and that culture comes from the very top, right down to the players. So it comes from Levy, whoever's running the recruitment department. We need Paratici back, to Ange Postecoglou, who's getting no help whatsoever. He's managing with one hand tied behind his back. But
maybe both, honestly, if you really think about it, the amount of injuries we've got, it's like having no hands. People always complain his hands are in his pockets. Well, they're tied behind his back. We've just figured it out,
But I also think that football is a results business. If you don't get results, you lose your job. It's like in any job. If you don't get results in your own job, you will lose your job. So we'll have to see what happens. Of course, if we win today, everything will be fantastic. We're back on top of the world. But if we lose again, there'll be another Ange needs to go. Ange needs to go today. And I've heard the same rumors as the gentleman below saying about this. And some of it is just people putting on Twitter just for the sake of putting it on. But I have to agree with Soren. I think he will be here to the end of the season. But this is Tottenham. Nothing surprises us. That's it, sorry. We've been watching them long enough.
And this is it. And I haven't seen any of the rumours, but I can kind of guess the people that are putting them out there. It's the same people every time. And is it a must win? I don't think it is a must win. I honestly don't, because it's a must win for us fans, definitely. We're desperate for a cup win. But to me, it's not a must-win game. I honestly don't think his job is. Unless we're battered. If we're absolutely battered, then it's a diff. It could be anything. But if we go out today, we've still got a very good chance of Europa Cup, and it kind of probably helps with the league position. And
to be fair, yeah,
I think if we were going to go on a knee-jerk and get rid of a manager because of a result, it would have been after the semi-final Liverpool game. And that to me is the one where if Daniel Levy suddenly thought, well, that was our best chance of a cup, he's gone. Today is not our best chance of a cup because it's still early doors. There's still a big team we've got to play.
Sorry, mate. But when you look at it now, there are only two avenues now, the two major European competitions for qualification: either winning the FA Cup or winning the Europa League. Winning the FA Cup will get Europa League football. Winning the Europa League will get Champions League football. So to me now, I realise now that the FA Cup for us as an avenue to get into Europe next season in one of the two major competitions, this is a must win, because we ain't getting European football. We ain't getting European football for our league standings. And when you look at it potentially,
but if you're Daniel Levy and you've got the chance of an FA Cup or a chance of Europa Cup to go into Champions League, which one are you going to push for? You're going to push for Champions League all day long.
But it's maybe a riskier ask, though. You know what I mean?
We were talking about this. We were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? We were saying like anything can happen between now and when we play our next Europa League game, which is what, March?
Very true. Yeah,
I'm a bit. I'm a bit. It can go either it could go more obviously more the positive way, or it could go more the other way. So I don't really want to put all my eggs in the baskets on Europa League because you never know what could happen in the next 4 weeks in our season. So I'm a bit worried about just putting it all into that. So that's what gets me a bit worried about, like, let's focus, like, the FA Cup's right here and now, and like I can't see, like, if we go out to 2 competitions in like 3 or 4 days, it like puts a real like massive down, like it does put real pressure on Ange. Real pressure on Ange, because it's like it's two domestic cup. It would be 2 domestic cups in the space of literally what, like Thursday to Sunday, so it would be what, 3 days. Like that does put a bit of pressure on himself during a little period where he's been struggling in the league too. So like the cup competitions might have become a little getaway, a little getaway from the league form. So like I looked at it like, so the League Cup. Something it might be me myself, like a bit of a down on the League Cup, but I just look at this like the FA Cup. The only way I think maybe he does definitely go if we lose today is if we put in the same performance like he did against Liverpool. If they turn up and play how they did against Liverpool and they sort of put in that sort of same showing, I think he'd definitely be gone. And I don't think a lot of fans will argue if that sort of performance gets put in again today, where people will say on Monday, if he does lose his job, will turn around and say, well, I can sort of understand because that performance against Liverpool, I understand. That's mainly on the players, man. We were talking about it yesterday, Colin. That was 1-1 when that first goal went in. That's still a stalemate game. That basically goes back to 0-0, yeah? We're still in that tie. We basically played like we were losing 4-0 when it was 1-0. If you don't understand, it was like it was basically done. We basically just allowed Liverpool a good team. Liverpool, one of the best teams in Europe right now. But as soon as you just allow Liverpool to take the game at Anfield, yeah, and just play into Liverpool's hands there, you're asking for trouble. It's going to end a 4-0 game. We've lost 4-0 there, even when we've had decent Tottenham teams in the past. Well, I remember when Liverpool smashed us one year when they won the league title, we lost 4-0 there. So if you let Liverpool take a game at Anfield and you just play into their hands, it's only going to end up one way. And that's exactly what we did on Thursday. So like,
but guys, if he does... Sorry, if he does get sacked after today. No, you're good. And I cut you off, and I'm kind of an asshole. Sorry, I do that sometimes. And
no, that's good. That's good. I was going on a bit. I was going a bit of a tangent. That's all good.
Tangents are good. I was just going to say, to me, it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like the players would be doing any better. So we fire Ange, right? And I'm trying to think. I'm racking my brain of managerial options, and the idea of them appointing a manager. Appointing a manager this late on in the season after a manager is fired, I just don't think it would happen until the next season. So that would mean that we go the rest of the season most likely with Ryan Mason. Would that be any better? Would we get any better results with Ryan Mason at the helm? I just think that firing Ange at this point, the time to do it was a while ago. If we were going to do it, I think we missed the boat on doing it at an opportune time for Tottenham. I think if we fire him now, it would be, I don't want to say knee-jerk because there have been quite a few losses in a row. It's not a new thing, but it would kind of, in my mind, be a little knee-jerk. There's not a good, and I know they're not advertising their plans to me. They're not filling me in. They're not saying, hey, Colin, do you think it would be good if we did this? I wish they would. But I think that if we fired Ange now, we would definitely, your pup wants to be in. What's your pup's name?
This one's Blaze.
Blaze, very nice to meet you, sir. You are a regal-looking pup. Maybe he could manage Tottenham.
He's a bit quiet, this one. This one that's coming might be better.
Have him coach and an assistant coach. One can be the mouth and one can be the brains. I like it.
Yeah, so this one's Copper.
Copper and Blaze. Love it.
And then we've got this one. Mom. This one's Coco.
Oh, Lab.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and then we've got Bella sat down there as well.
Man, you've got a whole pack.
So Bella's the old girl, and then these are just nearly a year old.
Wow. So you lots of action with the young pups, but maybe get them in. I don't know how much manager experience they've got, but maybe they could do a job at Tottenham. I like the confidence. They look confident. So that's,
they definitely are, yeah. But I mean, just sort of quickly jumping backwards though. I agree. Sorry, what is it Dan?
Yeah. Daniel Boyce.
I thought it was, but I wasn't sure. I agree with everything Dan just said. But the question was, is it a must-win game? And I don't think it is a must-win game. I think it's a very important game and probably more important for us fans than it is for Ange Postecoglou. But I'll tell you what I would like to see from him today, and I don't think he will, but I would basically drop the senior players and play a bunch of kids. because I think we'd get, put Archie Gray in that number 6 role. I mean, I'm not saying take them all out, but it certainly wouldn't be any worse putting a midfield 3 of, say, Bergvall, Gray, and Papsar, rather than Benton, Kieran, Bissouma, and put them on the thing. Play Mikey Moore, put Tell up front, and maybe Son on the other side. But or I've seen people saying put Spence out there again. To me, I would put Spence as left back, and or play Reguilon even. Let's just shake it up a little bit, because
why hasn't Reguilon been getting minutes? Obviously, there's something behind the scenes, but I think the other day, the Liverpool match in particular, if we could have had Spence on the right, Reguilon on the left, that would have been abs. I think if you're going to play defensive, then play players in their actual positions. We lined up and we played a defensive game versus Liverpool, but if we were going to do that, play an actual effing left back. We've got a talented right back on the pitch.
We were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? We were saying that basically they only play Reguilon if he has to. Well, I think it was that one game where Doji got injured. He had no other left backs. Was it beginning of January? And he put him on for the last half hour against Wolves. Like, he'd only play Reguilon if literally there's a situation where he's got no other left backs he can play in that slot. You see, he obviously seems to not fancy Reguilon. He hasn't fancied Reguilon since he's been here. So that just seems to be. I just don't think he rates him that much as a player, generally. So.
Probably so, but I mean, to me, with my eyes, he's better than some of the options we've been playing. I think he looks better than shoehorning Archie Gray into a fullback spot, where obviously he's played before, but he didn't look great. They were targeting him. Liverpool were literally going after his side, and so I think that
we obviously we don't know what's happened behind. We don't know what's happened behind the scenes, obviously, as well. So we don't know if he's been not impressing enough. Obviously, still sometimes you don't impress enough in training as well. Some managers just won't pick you. So if you're not doing enough in training, if you don't fit enough into how the structure and how it goes in training, they just won't put you in the team. If you're not done enough to really get into the team to start off with, and you're not doing enough in training, you're not going to get yourself back into the start off with.
He makes the bench. But I was going to say, so
has he made the bench this season?
Who else would be?
Has he made the bench this season? Has he made the bench this season because he's on? Because he's obviously played Warrington, or has he been there because he's been a commodity? Where he's actually been put on the bench sometimes because we obviously had no options because of this injury crisis.
And sometimes we're putting him in the shop window as well a bit. Real quick, I just wanted to say hey to Haz. Haz and Peter have been going a little back and forth about Liverpool and where Liverpool would be if they were missing their first choice center backs and a couple other players up top. Haz says that they would most likely be second, third, or fourth. I think that is hard to say. And I mean, you were asked a question that was very theoretical, and so I can't really hate on your answer, but I would say that saying that they would be in second, third, or fourth is.
I remember happened a few years. I remember happening a few years back to Liverpool. I swear they lost Van Dijk, and they had Nat Phillips, and they had that youngster that Reece Williams playing, and they had it's when they finished third that season, so they didn't capitulate. Yeah. But they
there you go. I've got to take back what I said now.
They had a period where they had they had a pretty bad injury crisis a few years back, Liverpool, and they fell away from the top two, but they managed to stay in the top four. So they didn't fall off like we did, but they did lose like two or three of their back four. So they did have a little period where they didn't have
lost our entire back line, basically. We've lost the goalkeeper, the two central midfield defensive. We've lost probably our most creative midfielder. We've lost our striker. I mean, it's not just two or three players that we've lost. We've lost. I mean, look at that. Man City lose one player, and where are they? Yeah, I mean, they're still obviously challenging, but they've got a far better squad than we have. So I think it's not just a case of losing Romero, and we've still got Van der Ven. We've literally lost four of our back five starters. And it's not just an odd game. So I think, I'm not saying that's an excuse or a reason, but I think this arguing between us as fans that, other teams have lost two or three players. We've lost 10 or 11 of our first team squad. So I think it's a hell of a lot different.
We've never seen injuries like this in all the years I've been following, and I've been following Tottenham now 44 years this year. I've never seen anything like this. The closest I could probably get to any injuries like this was probably the 94 96-97 season under Jerry Francis, where it was just one injury after another. We lost Gary Mabbott in the first game of the season with a broken leg. It just went on from there then. Look, you can't blame everything on Ange, but Thursday was just, I don't know. I can't get over the disappointment and the anger I felt after that game on Thursday. And I was pissed. I was proper pissed that players in the semi-final would just give up. I don't care who you're playing.
At ones, man. It was 1-1. It could have gone anywhere. We had a couple set piece options. We were it frustrated me. It wasn't like we were creating much, but it wasn't like we had no opportunities either. No shots on goal or whatever. I know that stat was shocking, but we had set pieces. We had options where we could have threatened. We really could have. And so sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm just as disappointed as you, Dermo.
Yeah, I mean, Ange could have changed it probably at halftime, taken Sarah off and probably mixed it up a little bit in the midfield, I suppose, or just say, well, damn well, let's go for it. And what gets me, right, I'm a big Celtic fan. So I knew what we were getting when Ange was appointed as manager. I knew what a manager he was and what type of football he was playing. And I was super excited. Like, I was thinking, right, we've now found our sort of manager for Pochettino after Mourinho, after Conte.
Right, I felt the same way.
And you get all the usual jokes, or what's Scottish football? Celtic only win up there and Rangers. That's so bullshit because you still got to beat what's in front of you up there. It's not, I know every league could be different. You look at the Spanish league, Barcelona or Real Madrid win it every other season. You look at the French league, PSG win it every year. You still have to beat what's in front of you. You still got to play your 38 games and win them and get the points to win whatever you're going after. So I think this with Ange, with some fans, he was out before he already started. Then there was fans like me that knew what he could do. That was, Ange is the man. He can do. If we back him, he will take us there. And there was fans in the middle. All right, he's going to have to convince me. But I think for his own
I was
sanity,
sold from the get-go, unfortunately. Yeah, I hate that. But yeah.
I was. And I do my channel like with Tequila now, and Tequila's very much Ange out. And I get it and I understand it. I think for his own sanity, and I think for our sanity, I think he has to go. But when do you go? There's never a good time to sack a manager. I think Dan is right. I agree with him that today is must win. I think it's must win. I think for us as fans, I think it's must win for the players to show they do care. And if they put in the same performance like they did on Thursday, I think Ange will be gone by tomorrow. You can't keep going on like this. We can't keep limping on game after game after game, going through this, 1 minute is great and next minute we're absolutely shite. There's no consistency.
What do you think another manager would do better? Or better yet, who do you think would be a good choice that would be willing to come to Spurs? I know that to be Ange out, you don't have to have that information. You don't have to have those answers. You're allowed to want something different without having in mind the answer. And I think a lot of people don't get that. They don't understand that you're allowed to feel away without having all of the answers. So if you don't have an answer, that's totally fine. And you just think that Ange isn't the answer, that's totally cool. And I get that.
I'm not Ange out. I'm really not Ange out. I'm just want better for my football club. I love Ange. I really do. And I think if he goes somewhere else, he'd probably be a great success.
Agreed. And it'll hurt. It'll hurt to see,
Yeah, it will hurt to see. You got Teres. I think Teres, the Dortmund manager who's out at the moment, I think he's free. Yeah, that's it. I can never say his fucking name. Sorry. I can never get his name.
If you're talking about available managers now, the car is pretty slim. But if you're looking at like
clown car is pretty full.
For a short term, like little hit that maybe if you go out there and look at the managers now, is there any cup winning managers out there who can get us potentially to? There might be a situation where you get a short term manager in, you look at the situation again in the summer, and you try and get a manager in who could potentially win you the Europa League. That might be the situation you end up getting into. That's what might end up happening late February. That's what the situation might get to. Is there any managers available now in European football who are out of a job who potentially could win us the Europa League? Maybe. I'm struggling. I've honestly looked at the available. If I look at the available managers, could Allegri win us the Europa League? This version of Allegri, maybe. But with this, he's a very defensive style manager, so it'd be very hard for him to come in 3 months and change it and win the Europa League. So
setup.
Yeah, so I even doubt Allegri. So yeah, Mason definitely won't win us Europa League. I can 100% guarantee that now. So he gets to a situation now where we ain't going to get relegated. Yeah, that sort of ended at that Brentford result. Yeah, I didn't even want us to really have to talk about that anyway. But that's sort of, so you don't get Ange sacked because of the league form right now. You look at the Europa League. I said to you yesterday, Colin, obviously the FA Cup to me now might be a must win. Europa League is the one way to save our season. Every single way. Because it means we can sort of like look at our league form and get bailed out by finishing 10th, and then we still get Champions League football. So it sort of gets what Levy wants, and it gets what the fan wants at the same time. It gets us a cup, the European trophy. It still gets Levy what he wants as well, which is Champions League football. I cannot, in my mind, think that Levy would want to go to. Because if you think about it, if we don't get European football this season, was it Ange's first season we didn't have European football when we finished 8th? When he come in after Conte and we finished 8th, so we didn't have that European football that first season. Then we've gone back into the Europa League this year. So if we don't get European football again, that'll be 2 years out of 3. That's very unlike Tottenham to not be in European competitions that consistently, like 2 years out of 3.
I can't remember. Yeah, I mean.
So it's like, it starts getting to a situation where I start saying, you know what I mean? It gets a bit iffy. So like, if we got the FA Cup today, yeah, does Levy then put all the faith in Ange to win the Europa League? That's what I'm saying. Does Levy trust Ange to win the Europa League? Does Levy then give Ange the third season if we don't get European football this year, and then it's 2 years out of 3 we're not been in European football? Does he then have enough faith in Ange to then say, look, it's the first season? What I'm saying is right. I think a lot goes into like these next few months, and like the league to me now is basically dead. We're not going to get you. We're not going to get relegated. We're not going to get what. The best we can potentially get from the league now is potentially 7th or 8th, and that is probably Europa Conference League. Yeah, and is that our aim? Is that really our aim? Aim is the target for a team to get like Europa Conference League in the league? Like, to be beginning the season, say that is what we wanted to aim for. That's going backwards, like personally, from like where we went from last season, like finishing 5th, to try to aim for Conference League. So like.
So we get Conference League and perhaps we win this trophy that we're from the game today.
Obviously, these are the 2 avenues now. Because obviously, if we won the League Cup, that would have only got us Conference League. These are the 2. Obviously, winning any trophy is good for a Spurs fan. But these are the 2 avenues where you still get 2 avenues to a European competition: winning the FA Cup or winning the Europa League. Because the FA Cup gets Europa League football, Europa League gets your Champions League football. So these are the 2 big avenues that can still save our season a little bit. You know what I mean? Winning either an FA Cup or Europa League. Because it's not been a good enough season, man. Just all round from Tottenham to full stop. Even with the injury crisis, man. Like, we've not won a league home game in what is it? Nearly like 2 or 3 months.
It's embarrassing. It's been an embarrassing amount of time.
That's the sort of thing that happens. Like, where it sort of mirrors where we are in the league. We're 13th, 14th. That's the sort of thing that you do when you're 13th or 14th in the league. We struggle to win games home and away, and that's what we're doing right now, isn't it? Struggling home or away. So
yeah, you're 100% right. I'm going through some of these comments. There's some arguing going down in the comments. One thing I wanted to say, Has saying that Ange was saying that. Sorry, Has was saying that Ange injured all of our players himself, and I just picture him running around with a hammer, just hitting people in the calf as they're practicing. Has and you and I famously don't always agree on things, and that's totally okay. But I don't know. I feel like you got maybe a bit of an agenda that's clouding maybe the way that you view things, but maybe not. And you're allowed to have that. That's totally fine. I just want it to be known that I don't really agree 100% with what you're saying here, Has. But again, that is okay. I like Benny Guy comes in, and Benny Guy is nice because he likes to turn and throw it back up at the leadership towards the top. And I think that's where we really need to be focusing our anger and our frustrations is with Levy and the board and Enoch as a whole. But yeah, guys, I don't have a whole lot longer to go on. I've got about 20 minutes personally before I got to jump off of here. I got a friend coming to visit and watching the match. So that'll be a good fun time. But yeah, I mean, I I don't know. So Soren, if we were to get rid of Ange after the match today, do you think we see Ryan Mason for the rest of the season?
Look, I don't even want to think about it because you're just going to get all these same people coming back and start telling us how many bloody managers we've had now because we've got rid of one. We're going to have another manager until the end of the season, then we're going to find another manager after that. So to me, what's the point? You know, I don't see the point in getting another manager in just for the sake of. It's just beyond me. Just give him till the end of the season. Look, if we're out of the cups and we are in a relegation battle properly, then I get it. It's different, but we're not. We're still in 2 cups at the moment. Even if we go out today, we've still got the best chance of a cup in the Europa Cup rather than the FA Cup. We're still then got the chance. We've got all our players coming back, hopefully from injury, and we can start hopefully to climb up the league a bit. And look, I'm not saying that Ange is the one to take us forward. That's debatable, but I just don't really see what he's going to achieve this year. I really don't, because if we get another manager in now, he's in the same boat with half of the players missing. Yeah, you might get a bit of a bounce, but look at Man United. They've just got one of the managers that half the fan base are telling us we should have had, and he's not doing anything over there. So, and is it his fault? No, it's not. He's a good manager. Is it the players' fault? Possibly. That there's a lot of argument going on. So, to me,
and a lot of moving parts, and a lot of people. The blame is shared across managers, players, owners. And it's not just one person's fault ever. Nothing is quite that simple in life, I don't think. But yeah,
just to answer Parker back. Well, as much as everybody wants to slate him off, well, he's got us to this position. And did we go out to a crap team in the semi-final? No, we went out to probably the best team in Europe at the moment.
Best team in the world. If you're going to say best team in Europe,
yeah,
best team in the world. Yeah.
We haven't gone out to a tin pot team. So, look, everybody's got their own thoughts and everybody's got agendas, whether they like him or not, and whether it's him or whether it's Daniel Levy or he's the one causing all the injuries, even though we've had experts come on a lot of shows telling us it's nothing to do with that. But
and it's been happening for years in the past. These injury problems aren't anything new. They predate Ange by managers and managers.
To be blinkered to certain things. Now, look, is Ange Postecoglou the one that the fan base wanted? No. Is he the one that I wanted? No. Is he our manager at the moment? Yes. Has he done great? No, he hasn't. Has he had problems? He's had probably the worst run of injuries that a lot of teams have ever seen. And is it his fault? There might be 1 or 2 that are down to him coming back to. But, we get people coming out and telling us, he's been told not to play these players by the medical team, but he goes and plays them himself. What a load of crap. All these people that know better than what goes on inside clubs. Look, I don't know what the answer is, but sacking him today or tomorrow or next week or at the end of the season, I honestly don't think it makes a difference. Now, do I want him here next season is a different question.
And one that maybe you might wait to answer even to see how things play out.
Look, if he got all the players back and we had a good run of games, and then you suddenly say, do you know what? I see where he's going. But, you get these people coming on, I haven't got a plan B. Well, I think it was on Sean's channel earlier where we're the 6th most team that have changed the playing style this season in the Premiership.
Yeah, well, and I mean, what was the tactics at Anfield if not a plan B? We weren't playing our normal ball. And Harry says here that his rubbish tactics meant we never stood a chance at Anfield. I have a feeling if we came out and played our normal attacking game, this comment would be the exact same thing.
The thing is, if we'd have gone out and played the attacking football, like you say, he'd have said the exact same thing. Look, some people just want to be negative towards the team and the manager all the time. And they know who they are. They know their opinions. It doesn't matter what we do, how we do it. Most of the fan base came out and said he needs to be defensive and try and hit Liverpool on the break. That's exactly what he tried to do. It was the players that didn't show up in the end. Is that Ange's fault now? Has he lost the dressing room? I don't think he has.
I honestly don't either.
Can he turn it around? Yes, he can turn it around. Will he turn it around? There's a different answer. That's a different scenario. I don't know whether he'll turn it around. But if he hasn't lost the dressing room and though he gets his players back and he starts to rotate a little bit, I think things will be different. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't think he does get sacked if we lose today. I honestly don't.
And Dan, we haven't heard much from you lately. I just want to see kind of where you are on this. Do you think? I know the tactics against Liverpool, there were flaws with them, but you can't say that he doesn't change his tactics. You can't say he doesn't have a plan B. That was totally different than we've played the majority of our matches this season. And
he got some things wrong though. Like we said about the midfield not having the creativity if we got into a situation where if we did get into transitions, we didn't have any players that could really run with the ball or spray or really decent passes. Like
who were the options?
But I know we were saying about this yesterday. Like even though Bergwell's quite young, you notice when he come on, like he can do like things on like the half turn. Like he does that little bit where he tries to like try and sometimes make stuff happen. Like I feel like he got it a bit wrong. He went with three defensive-minded midfielders, and it like made it a situation where when we did get any of the ball, like we couldn't really create any sort of like transitional attacks. Where like it made it a situation where this is what I say. A lot of this is blame on the players because they didn't win any of the second balls, and if you don't win any of the second balls at Anfield, you're basically in trouble.
It's not even like they didn't win them. It's like they didn't want them. It's like they didn't want to win the second ball.
Like, I can't really like look at the game plan. Like the game plan, like I feel like we was in a situation where he set up to counter attack. But I feel like he got this a bit wrong with the three midfielders. They made it a situation where we couldn't really counter attack because we had a situation where we didn't really have like they're all the same sort of mesh of the three, and we didn't really have that creative force. Like we could have really in this sort of game the other day done with a Maddison, and the Maddison was obviously injured. It's that sort of situation as well. We didn't have that sort of player playing. Like we were saying, maybe in a situation
he hasn't been playing when fit though. That's a weird.
He could have put Kulu. He could have put Kulu in the middle and then put someone on the right. But we didn't have any options.
Maybe. But you're right. With that injury to Richarlison, we were.
Yeah,
Mikey Moore could have come on earlier.
Yeah, so maybe could have done that. Maybe Kulu might have been able to transition the ball a bit more better in the midfield. But yeah, remember. What was he saying mainly about the game today? Yeah, I don't really know. Like, obviously, I'm hearing of some rumours, but you can't really tell about rumours if it's going to be his last game or not. But yeah, all we can say is we've got a few big months ahead. So like, I don't really, me and Colin with the manager. I wouldn't really bat an eyelid if he was gone tomorrow personally. But then I can't really find a solution right now. He's going to give me a permanent manager who's going to come in and really change it around. So I'm sort of like stuck in a situation where I can say, yeah, I probably won't want the manager here, but who's going to come in? Like, so we see when they turn to me and say, "I'll give me another manager who can sort of change the situation around." I can't really give you one because there ain't a lot.
No.
Right now, who can come in and really sort this situation out. Who's available? Like, I don't want Southgate. I'm an England fan as well. So when people say, "Oh yeah, would you have Southgate?" He's better than Ange. Is he? Like, I'm an England fan. Southgate's horrible. Southgate wasted a goal, like basically England's second golden generation, where they got to two finals and he bottled two finals. I don't want Southgate managing this club, so like, I definitely don't want Southgate. People were talking about Southgate, no. So there's not a lot of managers available who you can get. So like, he's stuck in a situation where. Is that why Maybe that's why Levy's giving him time as well, because there's not really many available managers available in the market as well for him to go and get. So maybe that's why he's giving him extra time as well. People maybe before that, maybe Levy's seen that as well. There's not a lot of available managers who he can think he can get who can save his bacon. If he gets to a situation where he needs to be saved, there's not a lot of. Allegri is the only one I can think of, maybe, and Allegri's this version of Allegri is nowhere near as good as the version of Allegri in the past. So.
If you were given the choice to keep Ange now and get the manager that we would probably want in the summer, or get rid of Ange now and get somebody that is available right now, which would you take?
Cough, Ryan Mason, cough.
I mean, this is
I understand. You're more to go to the first one. It makes more sense getting the guy in the summer as well when they become more available as well.
Exactly.
Like if we were to go for Iraola in the summer, it's going to be much more easier than trying to get him in March as well, potentially to try to persuade him as well. Because he's done 2 seasons at Bournemouth as well. But if Bournemouth get European football, he might not want to leave there. So you sort of look at that situation as well. But yeah, it's definitely easy. If you go for like a Thomas Frank, a Marco Silva, or one of them type managers, it's definitely easy doing it in the summer. So yeah, I understand. That's what I'm saying. I'm getting that sort of situation now. I sort of don't want me coming across like I'm sort of like saying I'm Ange in on manager. I just want to assess this football club here. But right now, the situation you're saying, if the Spurs are going to get the manager that they really want in the summer, if Ange ain't going to turn this around, we're not going to get into a position now where it's going to get really, really bad. I would probably stick with him. Because if it means we're going to get the guy, if it means we're going to get also ain't going to get a Nagelsmann sort of manager, but if it means we're going to get that sort of type manager, the manager that we want as our first choice after Ange goes, then I would rather it be like that. I don't want to get like a bitty manager we get now, and this situation doesn't really get sorted, and we are already back here in the summer again.
We keep him all summer, and we're dealing with another inexperienced manager.
We're needing a full-time manager again in the summer.
Or not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean,
everything seems right.
Ange really has still a bit of time to turn it around. To a lot of fans. A lot of fans obviously made their mind up now. They don't want him here. They don't want him here. I just want this club to be successful. Yeah. So if he can win us either the FA Cup or the Europa League between now and the end of the season, he gets a bit of time with me. I'm being honest. So that's just me personally. That's not every Spurs fan. No. That's just me personally. Sorry, mate.
If we go and win today, what does that prove? We've got another game. I mean, look. This is a conversation that was had in quite a few of the WhatsApp chats, and the amount of people saying sack today off and go for the Europa Cup and things like that. I mean, I was one that was saying you can't sack it off today. You've still got to play for it, but if we lose, it's not the end of the world. But I just think that, when you look at it and you think, well, if we do lose today, does that make it better for us to try and do better in the Prem and go for the Europa Cup? We're putting our concentration on the more important things. But I just think that you've got 1 or 2 players coming back who could be important. And if those players are still behind him and you've got these youngsters coming in, and we've just got, I mean, Danso looked pretty good the other night. He wasn't too bad. So we've actually got people that are starting to play in proper positions rather than makeshift positions, then hopefully you'll see a difference. Now, if we go out today and we do lose 4-5-0, to me, he's got to go. There's no option.
I mean, if we get trounced today, and it's ugly,
but if it's 2-1 or something like that, and you think the players actually show up today, then I don't see Daniel Levy sacking him. I honestly don't.
It's funny. You have everyone in the group chats. I belong to a couple group chats. People saying, we're going to lose by 3 or 4 goals today. The same people, if we end up winning, especially a hefty win, you won't hear much, if anything. Some of the people in the chat of this show today, they're awfully loud whenever we lose. It's they're mouthy, they're vocal. But then whenever we win, it's like you don't really hear anything positive. And you can't. That's not a fair thing for me. You can't criticize so heavily, but then not give any plaudits or any grace or any goodwill towards the good things that happen. And so to any of you guys watching, I implore you, please, if we play well today, if we play out of our skin, if we absolutely teach Villa a lesson about playing football, then give the boys and Ange some props for that. That's all I ask. I don't want you to,
Do you not remember the arguments earlier on when we played Forest and that, and they're not a top 10 team? Where are they in the league at the moment? Would you like to tell me that at the moment? We haven't won a top 10 team. We've beat City. Yeah, but they're not. That's
City
the
are shit now.
It's always an excuse. It's always an excuse. But look, we know Tottenham are playing shit at the moment. We know we're an injury-ravaged team. We know we're not very good.
No recognized striker to go out today.
No recognized striker. Our first choice goal is out. Our first choice left-sided centre back. Our first choice right centre back. Our first choice left back. It goes on. First choice striker, like you say. It goes on and on and on.
Steve does have a good point. It's worse than going out of the cup. It's confidence for today, and I think you're right. But as long as we don't get absolutely smashed, then I don't think confidence will be especially affected. And if anything, if we saw anything from the Liverpool game, these players don't give a shit about these cups for some reason. So I don't think it'll hurt them too much. But guys, I really do have to start making my way out of here. So we'll start wrapping it up. I want to thank both of you for being here. Dermot too, who had to run. Internet problems, he was saying. I want to thank everybody that's been in the chat too. We've had so many wonderful people. Even if I don't agree with what you're saying, and it seems like maybe I'm picking on you by pulling up your stuff, I'm pulling it up because I don't agree with it, and it makes good talking points, and it's fun to talk about. So I'm not trying to like be a bully or a jerk or a dick or any of those words that all mean the same thing. So, but yeah, again, thanks to everybody in the chat. Everyone's been so nice and so just involved, and that makes the show so much better. I really do appreciate that. I like the disagreements because people aren't afraid to speak their mind here. This is a safe place to do that. You're not going to get real lambasted for your decisions or your thoughts or your opinions is what I meant to say. You're good here. But yeah, final words, final thoughts before the match today. We'll start with Soren. What you got, buddy?
I see us winning today, but then I say that every match, so I give up. I just want a performance today. Look, if we do lose, please just give us a performance that we can at least get behind. I do think it's going to be tight. I don't think we're going to get trenched. At the end of the day, we're all Tottenham fans. Let's just get behind the team, stick together. Come on, you Spurs. 2-1 to Tottenham.
Yeah, boom. I love it. And what you got, Dan? What's your final words? And then let's get a score prediction from you too.
Yeah, well, we'll just don't play like you did against Liverpool the other day. Just don't turn up and play like that. That will be a start. And score prediction. I'm gonna go similar to Soren. But I know this is my heart over my head saying this, but I'm gonna go 2-1 Spurs.
Yeah,
2-1 Spurs. That was gonna be mine.
I'm gonna just go with the faith that we're gonna be in the draw is the draw tomorrow or today, whatever day it is, but we're still gonna be in the draw by the end of today.
We might not be here tomorrow, so who cares?
All right, guys.
And the way you have to look at it, when you have to look at it is that either way, no matter how we win this game today, it's the way it's been a park in the FA Cup. When we got drawn this game, we would have been like, this is a tough match here straight away. This would have been one of the games we wanted to draw in the FA Cup. So as soon as you play these sort of games in the FA Cup and you stay it and you get into the next round, any win's a good win. That's the way I look at it. So
absolutely.
So.
And again, sorry guys, my buddy is here at the back door and he's like, "Where are you?" So I got to run. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much, everybody, and I appreciate you guys.
See you later.
Big love, everybody.
Yeah,
big up. See you. And guys, as always, if you don't mind, please consider supporting the channel if possible. The links are in the channel. I'll play out with one of my buddy's songs, just a little bit of his music to end the day. I'm trying to get his stuff out there. I'll put the link to this in the chat as well. But yeah, guys, play this and see you next time.
My direction, more than 40 shots struck my house. One of those bullets pierced flesh and released my soul. I know we can't control what is destined, but this is vengeance. Sacrilegious tendencies become weapons. It ain't right, guess that's just life. That's what happens when you fight back them demons and they keep screaming.